Yes, we are live. Hi, everyone. Thanks for joining us once again. This is the Saturday's edition of Shagalinku. We're gradually wrapping up or coming to the end of the year series. We started the end of the year series like a couple of episodes back, roughly last week, and we've done pretty much on this. And hopefully, we'll be finishing the end of the year series at the end of this month. So and one of the reasons why we're bringing the last episodes, so for today, for Tuesday's edition and the upper edition, we'll be bringing, as we wrap up the year, we'll be bringing all the guests, the first guests who were here when Shagalinku started the online version. So that's why today my guest is very special. She's been on this show a couple of times, but the good thing why we're bringing her close to the end of the year series is because she was one of the three first guests we had when we started the virtual version of Shagalinku. So that's why we're bringing her. Then on Tuesday, we'll also bring Jelene from Tanzania. She was actually the first guest we had on the show while we're still struggling to put things together on Shagalinku and find our feet. So that's why we kept her to be one of our guests for the last. You soon know my guest. Well, for those who already on Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, you already know who our guest is. But for now, let me keep it at the wrap. So we're looking at what what can students, schools, youth, and parents do differently in this trying period. Now, ASU just called off strike a couple of days back, and so we're worried that how come they're calling off this strike when it was almost end of the year, because we expected this to have happened maybe many months ago, so that maybe final year students or students who were also writing exams, who were in the middle of exams before ASU went on strike, could just come quickly, finish their exams, and then go for the end of the year season. And now you also know that there's a new strain of the COVID-19 that's been affecting a whole lot of countries now. It's been found in Europe, I hear it's also in South Africa, and speculations are that it's in Nigeria as well. But we really don't know. We're still just being careful and all that. So there's a new strain, and we're looking at how visible it is for us to call off strike, and then knowing that a lot of stay back or reduction of public gathering is still on. A lot of states, even like Lagos, is reducing movements like public places, bars, and all that. So that is another thing we'll be looking at, and then we're looking at how students can cope. Young people too who go about their daily lives trying to eke a living for themselves, how they will cope with all that. So that's what my guest and I will be discussing on the show. Before I bring her on, I also want to do a few thank yous. Thanks to Achievers Improve Health Initiative for giving me this. This award came as a Christmas surprise. Thank you so much for that. And yes, I need to also thank Funcrest Frozen Foods, to Matilda, to Michael, and Kelvin for giving us a surprise chicken. They just surprised us with, excuse me, they surprised us with chicken. I don't know how they got to know that I like sausage rolls a lot. So they gave us chicken sausage and all that. So they made my Christmas. Thank you so much. And yes, thanks to everyone who sent in messages, those who sent me love, those who sent chat cards, those who sent money. I just was seeing different alerts on the phone, and I was surprised. Like, I bet man go use this money. They go tell me make I pay back later. But then they followed up with calls and like, Ambassador, we know you've been doing so well on this show. I bet just take this off to recharge the network anytime you come online to do your program. We appreciate what you do. Thank you so much. I know sometimes you don't like me calling your names, but then I would just appreciate. One day I will call all of you's name. Anyway, that's by the way. So let me bring in my guest, a very wonderful lady. Her name is. I will introduce you by myself. I do family. Her name is Chinasa Imo U. This baby, she can read for Africa. I first said, okay, we've met a couple of times, but then we actually bonded when we went to Paris, and then we became from friends from champion zone. We became friends, and from friend zone we became brother and sister, but not the Igbo kind of brother and sister. Chimama, happy Christmas first of all.
Merry Christmas to you and Merry Christmas to everyone watching the show today. And
Mm.
good afternoon, everyone. Um, like you said, you've already introduced me. Ah, I don't become partner for this Shagalinku. I don't think I need to be reading my profile again every time I come here. You know, today is Boxing Day. We should, unbox
But a
ourselves a
little,
little.
yeah. But you
Yeah.
know, a lot of we have new viewers who might just bump in. That's why I really want you to do all those your paparazzi. Her CV is full, oh. She will just abbreviate teacher. The head they hot will book.
Stop exposing me. I want to say something. Okay, yeah. So, my name is Chinasa Imo U. Um, I'm a communication and content development specialist. So, I specialize in developing content for trainings, for capacity building, and for a lot of things anyway. Just when you hear content development, that's what I specialize on. And um over a period of time, I've worked extensively in the development sector, health sector specifically, um, in with different position. But the last one is Niger State Advisor for Evidence for Action, Mamaye, and currently I'm running a master's program at the University of Chicago, Poharis Public Policy. So that is me in a short wrap. Thank you.
I told you people that her CV is well loaded. She's just abbreviating it for today. Okay, Chinasa, one of the reasons why we had to bring you for the end of the year series is because we also appreciate the fact that a lot of we've had so many guests over the time Shagalinku left the mainstream and decided to do virtual when the COVID first started, and you were one of the very first three guests who came on the show, and that's why we just remember that okay, it would be nice for us to bring back the first three who were on the show to be the last three to conclude the end of the year series. And we really must thank you for how you've always been there for. We could call you at 2 a.m. and say, Chimama, we're going live tomorrow. And you're like, Ambassador, you don't start again. Oh, and off we go. So we really must thank you. And for our viewers right now, please, we're also doing end of the year greetings. So if you have anyone you want to greet, the comment section is there. You'll greet them. If you have questions for our guests as you look at some of these things, please do ask and she will respond as we go on. Okay, Chinasa, let's even start with the first. Were you a bit worried when you heard that ASU called off strike at this time when even if schools were on, and December period was when schools would have gone for recess, closed down for Christmas and New Year. So wasn't it a bit a wrong timing because the calling of the strike can't even make students come back to class right now and do anything? What's your take on that?
Yeah, Ambassador Imad, thank you. First of all, I want to appreciate you for always finding me worthy to be in this program. I remember the first time that we had to do this thing. We practically were canvassing all through social media just to find the right platform to use, and internet was really khaki that day. But it was fun eventually. Ah, at some point, you'd be like, Chimama, calm down. I know you're a perfectionist. Uh, there's just things you can't do on your own, especially when it has to do with internet. So I appreciate that you bringing me back at this time, the Yuletide season. And before I answer your question, I have a shout out. So today is my sister's birthday, and it happens to be a Boxing Day. And that girl is a box that we all unbox as a family. So I want to say happy birthday to
Uh,
her. Her name is Jamie Otu. I wish her well as she celebrates her birthday today. And then going back to your question, education system generally in Nigeria is it's not really impressive with or without strike. Like, I do not think our policy makers, our leaders, even our lecturers themselves understands that the backbone of every society is actually the ability to train their young ones to have the capacity to take on whatever is coming in the future. Because if we have this at the back of our mind, it will guide us in the kind of policies, negotiations, and decisions that we do as a people in terms of education policy. I know that COVID, we all know that COVID, flare everything in the air, but that doesn't mean that we should wither down or play down the importance of education. This is innovation age. Some people call it the jet age. Some people call it the new age. And what does that mean? It means that there are just new ways of doing things. Things that used to work before are no more working now, especially with this COVID. We've all seen this. And relying on how we used to do things before wouldn't just work, and it makes us how do I put it, an unserious nation, an unserious country. That's how people see it from outside. I mean, we were in lockdown for how many months, Ambassador Emmanuel? Almost 6 months, or more than about 7 months. And then, thank God, we were able to put the um outbreak a little bit under control to roll out the economy. And then, boom, students who have been at home for the past 7 months because of COVID continue to be at home. That means the whole of this year, there was no education, nothing to learn, nothing to improve upon, no technological advancement. Let me not even mention, because it means that all our youths, their brain in 2020 were sleeping. Can you imagine that? Please, if you count 360 something days of the year, and then you remove about how many days? About 100, because the lockdown started like around March. So it means that 200 and something days of this nation was just wasted for the young people. And lecturers are feeling good. Government, like for me, this is a balanced blame, because first of all, what is it that we are asking as lecturers? You understand? That is so insensitive that we could not put the economy. Everybody knows around the world that the economy, all around the world, even developed nations, are struggling. You understand that you could not just be sensitive about this to understand that what we are pursuing in terms of our education is more important to whatever acts we are asking. Could we not have found other ways of negotiation? Strike, for me, is never the best way to solve problem, because at the end of the day, it doesn't pay anybody, it doesn't pay the beneficiary, it doesn't pay the negotiators. We could have found a more diplomatic way to engage ourselves if our policymakers and our lecturers are sensitive to the growth of the economy, especially the growth of young people who are the future of every economy. And we've been having this back and forth about the strike for like a period of 3 months now, right, Ambassador Emmanuel? And in all these things, they've been meeting
True.
an impasse. Why? For what? Nobody considered the beneficiary. Nobody considered the young person who has been sitting at home for a long time. And now it's Christmas time. You are calling off strike when rice and chicken bone is in our mouth. How do we digest that? What do we do with
Honestly.
that information? You understand? How does that help us to cover up the days that we have lost in 2020? So, um, is it just shows that we are unserious. So how do we do to the curriculum, the educational curriculum? Because you've
Yeah, that was lost.
and you are calling off strike end of the year. So how do are we forgetting that we have 2020 just to start off fresh in 2021? You get? So what is the implication of all this? That's the question I throw back to the policymakers.
Okay, thank you very much, Chinasa. For our viewers, if you're watching right now, please, today until the end of the year, we're giving out opportunity for people to do their shout out. So as you drop your views on the comment section, please also remember to do your season's greetings to your friends and loved ones, and we'll read all of them. Chinasa, I got some messages here, so let's quickly read these ones. This is from Shetima Bolama. If you can see it, please do read it out for us.
Say keep up the good work. Yeah.
Okay, and there's another one here from Pascal Achunine.
Hmm. Nice to be part of this Boxing Day session. Hi, Mr. Pascal. Thank you. Thank you.
But Chinasa is
And
not boxing me.
congratulations on the good work you've been doing, especially with COVID and the emergency response. Yeah.
Yeah, he's been doing well. You know, he was on
Yeah.
the show too. He was on the show twice, and when people saw that episode, they were like, "You mean people like this do work? Where do you always go to get these people, Gabari?" You know. So
Yeah. There are good people
okay,
everywhere doing good works. And Mr. Pascal is one
true.
of them. Yeah.
True. So
Yeah.
there's another one here. I think this is also corroborating what you said. So please do read this. It's from Matthew.
He says has to call off strike between now and 18th January 2020 to see if the feds will comply, to know if they will continue with the strike. Oh, wait, they even plan to continue with the strike if the federal government
Mm,
will not. Oh my God. Let's just sell this nation and take the money. Amazon is
no
there, take
buyer.
the money. Because not everybody have lost focus. The academic system have lost focus. The government is, I don't know what to say about the government anyways, because nobody is really putting the citizens, you know, in the front of whatever decision
Yeah.
they are making. And it's so
Mm,
heart-wrenching that is the young people, the future of the youth, that they are using
true.
to
True.
play this chess, this game of chess
True.
that they are playing.
Okay, Chinasa, let's also come back to the. Thank God you even mentioned the youth. So that will bring me to the next question I have for you. Now, amidst all this, one time the president addressed our teeming youth as lazy youths. So amidst all this, what can young people begin to do differently, even before we come to parents? I think parents have also learned a new lesson now. I was in a forum where parents were, and I was asking why they no more want their kids to school in Nigeria. And a woman was telling me that even the least university or the least tertiary institution as close as our neighbors, Niger, that you get in there, you are sure in 3.5 years your child will come out successfully without strikes or anything. And I said, what about the cost implication? She said something that struck me. She said, I'd rather pay 2 million and know that my child will finish school at the right time than want to pay 150,000 or 200,000 for my child to go to a public school and he or she will spend 8 years in school reading a course of 4 years. Because at the end of the day, I will even spend more than what I would have spent if I generally took him or her to Niger or outside the country for education. And that really got me sad for a whole long time because it's disheartening, It's really disheartening because the amount of money parents are spending just to make sure their kids get good education is worrisome. And then you keep wondering, what will you ever get from your country? You can't get security, you can't get steady power supply, you can't get water, you can't even close your eyes and sleep and know that you're waking up ill and hearty the next morning or something. What do you think young people should also begin to do right now? Because obviously, they are also taking the horns, the horn by the bulls, or how they call it. I don't know. The bulls by the horn. Yeah.
Mr. Ambassador Emmanuel, first thing first, let's say this the record straight. It is the responsibility of governments to provide enabling environment for the young people to thrive. So sometimes when people ask me, what do you think young people could do differently? What can we do differently? Should we turn the nation upside down? No. We are peaceful
No.
youth. That's just the truth. And whatever we are doing differently, there is an institution. You understand what I mean? That you have to pass through. First of all, because that is a recognizable institution. So for us to do things differently, yeah, a lot of young people are doing things differently. We are studying online. We are developing different skill sets that are even most needed and quite parallel from what we are getting from our institution. Please just note this: most needed and parallel from what we are getting from our institution. But at the end of the day, if you do not have that institutional qualification, you understand, it limits, unless you are in certain fields like in tech, where they don't really need your degrees, for promotions and to for remuneration negotiations. You get what I mean? So it is only in such areas. But should we all move into tech? Is the question that I will also ask. You get? Should we all become artisans? Should we all go learn sewing? You get? Are you understanding me? Even though they are like the needed skills right now, it's still important that we acquire institutional knowledge and certification, and it comes from government. It is only government that can do that. So I don't want to put this blame on the young people. I'm taking it back to our leaders. They had the enabling environment to grow, to study. Do you know that the last generation, because my mom is part of the last generation, they used to choose what they eat while in school, because those are the palliatives that encourages them to study. Yet here, you struggle to trek to school. You wear torn uniform that your parents struggle to buy for you. And yet you go to school. The lecturers are recalcitrant. They are the most recalcitrant people I have ever seen. They are not interested in training. They're not interested in even developing our young people. They're interested in their business, selling their textbooks and and their handouts. The government are not interested as well to invest in one of the most important economy in sector that grows the economy. You understand? So at the end of the day, what can young people really do? And I like the fact that you took it to the parent side. The parent recognizes this, but because there's nothing they can do about it, they choose the alternative. I'm going to tell you a story. I'm Emmanuel. You know I have a master's from Nigerian University. That master's is as what as WAEC. In the industry that I work, how can in the best school, Unilag is one of the best schools in Nigeria when you grade Nigerian schools, yet that master's is worth WAEC. You understand what I mean? I have to, in order to up my niche, I had to go study abroad to be able to even be at par, start standing at par with
Meet up
contemporaries.
the standard.
And it's not an easy thing, Ambassador Emmanuel. I come here in the school. My contemporaries are 24, 25 years young people. That means at 17, 18, they've already finished their BScs and moving. And yet, how can you spend 8 years in the university and you not graduate at 35? It means even before you'll be done with the school system, you are already out of the young people's category. That means your brain have started thinking of how to raise children and the rest of, and not how to be innovative. So we have a lot to do to restructure our system. You understand? To put back the value in our educational system, in the qualifications that we, and this thing has to come with policy making. It's not just about wish, otherwise you will be seeing that export of not just money, but our brain set. Because if I go to even Benin Republic to study, and I can finish in 3 years, do you think I want to come back? Is it this is the hardest question that I ask people.
True.
I'd prefer to work in that country that developed me. I would prefer to, because that's the way I'll be valued. Just like we don't value our educational system. We also don't value our graduates, our young people who are doing marvelous things. That's why you see them when they go outside the shore, they do better, they thrive. You hear beautiful news about them. Do we not have that same quality of people in our country? We do. You understand? We do, but nobody sees you, nobody hears about you, nobody wants to, nobody is interested in hearing about you. And we are having all these flights, both capital and brain, leaving the shores. So what is remaining other than a crumbled economy? So we really need to start thinking and start thinking the hard way on how to fix the educational system in Nigeria.
Thank you very much, Nasa. In case you just joined us, the program is Shagalinku. This is a Saturday's edition, and I'm here with my guest, Chinasa Imo U. She's a communication and content development expert, and today we're looking at something different from our line. Although by January, God willing, I'll bring her to really come and give us a handout on some of the things we need to look out for in January and how corporate people need to sell their content, because something we lack also, Chinas, I notice is that a lot of people have ideas, but they don't know how to use the social media to sell their content, and this is a field you are very good at. And I think it would be wise for us to start off on a very good note in January for people to begin to understand how to use the year so they don't wake up again and see that December 2021 is there and then they didn't do anything much. All they do was posting Ashwebi on Facebook, living La Viga and all that, but they don't know they can use social media to actually sell their content, build their brands and all that. Because when I heard you in one of the interviews, you talked about how you deliberately do everything with your social media, that
Yeah.
it's a deliberate attempt because you know where you are headed. And a lot of people don't know that, that even as social media is for leisure and all that, you can still use it as a corporate entity for yourself. And that word has been ringing long, long, long ago that you said it, that I was looking for a right opportunity for us to do something on how people can build their brand, using social media. And I think January will be a good time as they are entering into a new year and then they are planning for it. But let me take a few messages here and then you respond to them. This one is coming from Issa Magaji in Sokoto. He says, nice time with your guests. It's always a pleasure when I tune into Shagalinku. Please, my regards to your guest and ask her
Yeah.
this question. How can young people hold the government accountable? Because when young people did end SARS, I thought they would also talk about the deplorable educational system. Young people were protesting NSAS and they were out of school because of ASO strike. What is your guest's view? Thank you very much.
Hmm.
Um, any
This
reply to
one is a
that?
tough one. It's a tough one. Yes. Yeah. In terms of holding government accountable, I think for the young people, that's one of the challenge that we have currently, because the young people are not, they are really not interested in what government does, and yet the business of government and governance is everybody's business. The one time I had a conversation with a man who was like, I'm not interested in government as long as I make my money, do my business, feed my family, and blah blah blah. And I told the man, sis, you are not interested in government, right? Say yes. You don't want to go and vote, he say yes. Do you know that government controls even that money in your pocket? Government have the upper hand to decide for you whether you will spend it or not, whether that money would even be valuable to you the next day. And look at the free fall with dollars. Does it not show you anything? Until we generally as a society start being interested in what government do or do not, we will continue to be in this cyclic circle where we complain and we go back to where we start from. And see, government is me and you. I used to tell people it's nobody anywhere, because there is no place that they built a statue and call it government. It's me and you, our everyday decision to do or not to do. That is government. So young people should start being interested in what governments do, what concerns them, build coalitions, strong coalitions, because one voice is not enough, you understand, to say exactly what or to make impact. But if you have collective of voices, you will be able to take action. And there is nothing that fears government than coalition. I mean it. There is nothing. If you are check out the SARS process. Government panicked and made wrong decisions because they saw young people in magnitude. Had it been, it was just a sporadic protest here and there, they'll just be, I beg, leave those people. They are hungry youths. They are looking for relevance, or they are trying to find and somebody to notice them. But because they came out in numbers, and numbers make things happen. So young people should start being interested in what concerns them, build coalitions, identify channels to engage. This is very, very key. Identify channels to engage with our representatives, our policymakers, to push forward things that will improve their well-being and their welfare. Until then, we would all be shouting inside our cartons, and shouting inside carton is just making noise. You understand? It doesn't change anything. So until we start being strategic on how we engage, there's really nothing we can really do to change anything. And likening it to the protest. Now I know the protest was centered on a particular thing, and it was already self defeating enough that we brought in so many things inside that protest, you get. So that protest as it stands had a target. If we want our education system to work, we need to set up something as similar as that, just for the purpose of letting, you understand, holding our government and our policymakers accountable for our education system. We're not supposed to wrap up different campaigns, you understand, into a particular movement. You understand what I mean? We are not supposed to bring in education, bring in the healthcare, bring in the police brutality into a particular movement. There are supposed to be different kinds of movements at different times. For instance, now, how can you be calling us strike when we are eating chicken? This is the right time to start asking hard questions. But the young people are not interested. They are wearing ashebi, they are attending weddings, they are doing birthday and beach parties. How would government be interested in you? The reason why, go and check the voting system in America, the reason why this election took a different turn was because the majority of the voters were the young people. Why? Because they were tired. They said they are tired of old people deciding on their behalf. You understand? Who should govern them? The reason why Brexit failed, Brexit succeeded, was because the older people were interested in living, even though the young people weren't. So you look at this kind of statistics and understand that until the young people to take charge, mind you, in 20 years, it's not the decision we take now will not be affecting the old people. It is the young people who it will be affecting. So we need to come out and stop being in the closet. You get? So thank you for your question.
Yeah, thank you so much, Isa. I'll take one more question here. So many of them, but then I'll just take one more because I need to also let you talk about a few other angles before we wrap up. This one here says, "Good afternoon. I'm watching you live from Ghana. I'd like to also greet your guest and say I've never missed any of the episodes she's had with you on Shagalinku. And end
Uh,
of year greetings to her and everyone who's also watching." This is from Sarah.
Thank you,
Thank you,
Sarah.
Sarah.
Merry Christmas to you in Ghana.
Yeah, yeah. So Chinasa, as we plan to wrap up, what's let's even evaluate learning now. As people seek for knowledge, as people go about trying to 2020 was really um a kind of funny year for people. Some made it, some didn't make it, some were feeling bad about it all. But let's even holistically look at it now. What's the way forward for people who, let's not even just limit it to people who want to acquire education. A lot of people lost out, people lost their jobs, people lost out in relationship, people went into businesses, and then COVID. I was passing somewhere someday and I saw a shop locked up, and I was, because I knew there was a restaurant in that place before, and it was owned by a young girl, and I knew I was always telling people to go eat in that restaurant because our food was good and it was hygienic. So when I didn't see her, I was worried. So I was asking people, what happened to this restaurant? They said, that she spent so much money to decorate the place and get the place going. Then few months after, COVID came in, and then the social distancing thing. By the time even they opened up the spaces, she had already lost all the customers, so she had no choice than to evacuate all her things and went back home. And it was really sad for me because I if you go into that restaurant, you see how much was involved in renovating that place. Anything a young person wants to do, they always
Yeah.
do it with all their passion and with touche and all that, and the place was beautiful. So it really got me thinking that people like this, how do we even begin to encourage them psychologically, sef, because already their mental health is at stake. Imagine investing such kind of money into a business. Nobody ever wished or planned that COVID will come from anywhere. So for students who are at home, for this long, now knowing how to come back, for parents who spent so much money, in school, thinking their children would have at least maybe finished school or going for NYSC, and this is happening. This is double expenses for them. For people who lost their jobs, for so many things happening, what's your word of encouragement to all of them as we begin to wrap up?
Yeah, Ambassador Emmanuel, the earliest time that we had this conversation, we talked about the new normal because we foresaw that post-COVID is going to hit people. And the only way to avoid the hit is to think differently. One thing that COVID brought, or the pandemic clearly show us, is that old ways of doing things are inefficient. We needed to upscale, append whatever it is that we knew used to work. And whoever at that point wasn't thinking about technology, the advancement of technology and the use of technology to advance your business, would ordinarily lose out. I mean, I feel for the young person, but during the COVID pandemic, one of the most needed thing was food. So it was just about you visualizing this and repackaging your services. You understand? If anybody should go out of business, it shouldn't be the people in the food industry. I mean it. You understand? I mean it. And people always think about businesses and things from a physical address. Who cares anymore? I mean, you used to run this Shagalinku on one Kanu TV. And right now, you've gotten more viewers during this pandemic than when you used to run in a local TV channel station. You get? So that's just a thinking focus. And if you are not following, it's like a train. When a train is moving, it's either you hop in or you hop out. That's just it. And that's it for everybody. I am one person who used to be averse with online studies. I only do short courses. If they are more than 6 hours, I'm not interested. But I've done a whole quarter online, wrote exam online. And at the end of the day, I came back and said, so what was the impediment? What was I so afraid of that I couldn't take the advantage? Otherwise, maybe I would have had 7 degrees by now. You understand? But I have to put myself in that position to know that, man, this is no more that time where you need to sit in the classroom and learn. You understand? So there are courses online that young people can take to improve themselves. There are schools are running programs online these days. You understand? Young people can key in. Practically different skills are being taught online. There are different platforms people are using to empower people in terms of intelligence, career wise, and even jobs are now done online. I did 6 months. In fact, all through the COVID period, I was working and delivering my job. I think I've said this before. I didn't miss any of my activity, the project in my work plan. Why? Because we have to start thinking the way the COVID had provided us. And for you to beat it, you have to think faster than the COVID. So I would encourage every business person, every young person who is being affected to re-strategize. That's just it. Re-strategize and follow whatever it is that is working right now. War brings innovation. Pandemic also brings innovation, and this is the time where everybody is innovating. People are trying things are working out. In fact, startups are the most advantageous right now. They are the ones who are in the right advantage to take the space. Startups. So if you are a startup business, you're a small scale business, this is your space to take, because simple technology, social media, all these things will help your business thrive. People are no more interested in queuing in the shopping malls to buy things. So key into that. That's it. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Chinasa. Okay, we'll be wrapping up now. Sorry, I have so many messages, but then we'll take it maybe when Chinasa comes back a second time for us. But on your final note, what what's your parting words for young people? What's your parting words for people who are depressed? Because sometimes people don't also recognize that they have to take their mental health seriously, because the health of a human being is like the engine of a car. No matter how beautiful the car is, if you don't maintain the engine and service it all the time, it's going to break down. So people keep walking, 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 and they don't remember to take a pause and also refuel themselves, and then you find suddenly people are slumping and dying and all that. How do you quickly just tell them to guard their mental health seriously?
First of all, do not engage in things that do not benefit your well-being. Cut off people who you need to cut off. There are negative people everywhere as well. Cut off people who bring you down. That's one. And then build a strong support system. I can't overemphasize on this a lot. If you do not have a support system, you think you are in doing this alone. You are in this world alone. You are struggling alone. But when you have the right support system, you see that there are things can come to you easily, or not too easy, but more easier. I don't know how to say it. More easier than you would have done it alone. And please seek help. It is very, very important. When you think that you are struggling, there's no point. See, there is nothing in this life that you think is only you that is going through it alone. That's just the fact. So seek help. If your help will come from your parents, talk to them. If it will mean seeing a specialized or professional counselor, please reach out. There are people providing telehealth. If you don't want to physically go there are people providing telehealth. Just check online, you will see all of them. They just ask you simple questions and then be able to counsel you or support you, walk you through whatever difficulties you're going through. So don't go through life alone. Life is difficult as it is. Don't go through it alone. Talk to somebody, have a support system, reach out. Please always reach out. Please always reach out to the right persons. There are professionals everywhere doing pro bono. I had a case one time where I had an issue of someone was reported to me. I have a friend on social media, on Facebook, that does counseling. You understand? I just reach out to her and, one or two free sessions with the person, and the person was okay. You understand? Sometimes when we are stuck on our difficulties, we struggle, but when someone provide a pathway for you to go through or to jump over them, you see that what we call difficulties sometimes are not really that difficult. You understand? So please, it is important. Seek help, seek support, have a support system, build one with family, with friends, close, whoever it is that is your support system. Roll with it and keep negative people out of your life. I would have to retreat this. Keep negative people out of your life. Those people, they can weigh you down. Thank you.
Thank you very much. I hate to let you go. It's always a very delight, a big one. Self. Every time we talk, I could go on and on and on and on, but then I'm just scared of respecting myself with this our network so that it doesn't go off when we are in the middle of something important. So I would like to just draw it here and believe that hopefully by January, sometime around first or second week of January, depending on your itinerary, we'll just call you back to really talk to us about content development and how we can marry both our professional life and social, using our social media to also boost our businesses and all that. So, one final word from you, Chimama. Who would you like to be sending your greetings to, and what's your Christmas greetings to? I know you've greeted some people before, but then this is the time for you to greet as many as you can.
Hmm. Okay, so first of all, COVID is real. Let's start with that. And then there's a new strain of COVID in town. It's not something to worry about. Let's leave scientists to worry about that. But simple precautionary measures such as wearing your face mask in public, um, keeping social or physical distance with people who are not cohabitating with you is very, very key for you to stay clear of this pandemic. It will go, like we've been saying, it will go, but don't let it take you along when it's going. So please play it safe. I know we are in this festive period. The dance where you know dance today, you go dance and tomorrow. So better may you save the dance, the best dance, for the time where you go dance and better. Please, please, please drive carefully. I know this is the time for all the hypings and bubblings and everything, but please drive carefully. Be mindful of people you associate with. This is the time where people also lose their lives. Um, COVID is very, very real. I don't know how to retreat this so that we sound it very, very importantly. And there's a new wave of COVID in town because of movement of people, because of the season and because of the weather as well. So please keep guide your health, protect the health of your loved ones. Do not be silly thinking that because you're a young person, you will most likely not be infected or asymptomatic. You have an aged father, mother, or uncle at home that you can easily pass it to, and you will lose that person. So keep that in mind and be responsible. And then we are in the Christmas period. We are 6 days away from the new year. Please, let's stay and see 2021. That's the whole idea. 2020 has been tough on us. We can just be that patient. We've been locked up for seven months. We came out and we all wear masks and look funny in public, yet we are alive. So it's the most important thing. Be alive. Join 2021 with us, please. Do not be silly and lose within these 6 days. And finally, thank you, Ambassador Emmanuel. Thank you to the Shagalinku TV for always having me. I'm always happy to be here to discuss, to interact, and to share ideas. And then I want to do a special shout out to my family members. We have so much celebration at home. Two of my cousins are getting married. I wish them happy married lives. I have my mother-in-law who is doing traditional retirement. I wish her well. I have so many people who have invited me for parties, weddings, trad, and everything. Please, I'm not coming, no, because I'm being responsible. I'll be supporting you from inside my house. Thank you. I'm a preacher who does what I preach. So thank you, everyone, and enjoy the holidays.
Wow, thank you so much, Chinasa. It's been wonderful having you. Well, that's the size of our show for today, the Saturday's edition. Chinasa happened to be one of the first three guests that we had on the show, and that's why we're also showcasing them as the last three that we'll have for the end of the year series when we wrap up. We'll be bringing in Jalene from Tanzania on Tuesday to also be here to talk on our end of the year series. And thank you, Chinasa. What Chinasa also didn't tell you was she was one of those in the front line when the Ebola crisis happened, and she was out of the country to also lend her community support in the fight against Ebola. And she even won a national award for that. Thank you, Chinasa, for all you do. Heaven will always remember you for that. Okay, people, I've told you every time we have Chinasa here, it's like we should go on and on and on and on. But then let's respect ourselves with this network since it's behaving well and start and finish this program. Lafia, no. So let me start by saying thanks to everyone who's been watching us. I'm keeping all my end of the year greetings to when we do the last one for the year, and then I'll do a whole wrap up of greetings. But then thanks to everyone who always watch us from Asia, from US, from London, from Ghana, from Tanzania, from Kenya, all over. We really want to thank you all. Sometimes they also watch after the program because of the time zone. So I know some more feedbacks and comments will be coming after the show, and we'll be sending it to our guests so that she can give a response to them as well. So thank you to everyone who watched. The program will still be here, and we stream this on three destinations, both on YouTube and on Facebook and on my personal page. So keep your comments coming. Let's know what you enjoyed about the show, and a thank you message to our guest as well that was here today to grace the occasion for us. Thank you once again, Chinasa. God bless you. So till I see you all on Tuesday, like she said, maintain social distancing, always wash your hands, and please wear a face mask if you must go out and all that. God bless you all. I still remain Ambassador Emmanuel Gabari. Merry Christmas and prosperous New Year in advance. When the grammar too much, so if you get past it, be okay, my people. Till I see all of you now on Tuesday, and then planning for the new year. God bless you all and stay safe. Bye bye.